Hello and welcome to the practice. If you are feeling anxious, angry right now, this practice is designed to reduce any activation you have of your sympathetic nervous system, the fight or flight response, and instead put you into a more parasympathetic state, the part of the nervous system that's in charge of rest, digestion, and repair, so that we can just take a break from the anger and from the symptoms of that anger that we might be experiencing in our body, our mind, our rumination. Take a break from it. Create that space so that hopefully at the end of this practice we can come back to it in a different state altogether and we can process it with a more calm mind. But in order to do that, we first actually have to honor our anger. We have to honor its presence rather than just trying to wash over it with, a quick relaxation practice, only to find ourselves re-emerging with that sensation of anger straight after. Okay, so I am going to ask you to get a little imaginative, right? To do a little visualization with me. But I promise that visualization is a very evidence-backed practice. So just go with me here. Okay, so you're just going to come into a comfortable seated position. I want you to be comfortable either in a chair or seated, maybe on a block with your hips raised, so that you're not distracted by any kind of impingement in your hips or no support in the back. I want you to be fully supported here in your body. Go ahead and close your eyes. And when you close your eyes, feel that sense of just coming into the body. Notice any areas in your body right now that are carrying tension or tightness. Relax your jaw. Notice your hands, notice your groin. Notice your stomach even. Anger can be extremely visceral, so we just want to try to relax everything just as much as possible so we can come into stillness for this visualization. We'll arrive here on the mat with just 3 deep breaths. So exhale, and together we'll sync up our breathing. Eyes closed, take a deep breath in through the nose, inhaling for 3 seconds. 2, 3, hold for 2, 1, exhale for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's go ahead again. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, hold, exhale, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Without my counting, inhale, pause, exhale, beautiful. Keep your eyes closed, and I want you to imagine that everything that you are angry about right now has magically been transcribed into a book. And in your mind's eye, I want you to imagine that book energetically emerging from your body somehow. And as it does that, I want you to pay attention to where it's emerging from. Is it your head? Is it your heart space? Was it your stomach? Your back? Where did it come from? Okay. And just see that book of your anger right now, suspended in midair, in your mind's eye. What does it look like? Is it an ancient looking book? Something from Tomb Raider, Lord of the Rings? Or is it more like a sci-fi book? What color is it? What color is this book of anger? Okay, imagine reaching for that book and placing it down on the ground in front of you next to your mat. We know that the anger is there, but we also know that it is separate from us. And we're going to let the practice of yoga be our dominant activity right now. And if you find yourself ruminating on the anger again throughout, just remember that all that's happening is that instead of practicing yoga, you've decided to reread the book. When you catch yourself reading, and I will check in throughout the practice, I want you to re-visualize the anger as a book, as something separate to yourself, knowing that you are not your anger. You are experiencing that anger. Just like a book, you are choosing to read it. So I want you to be able to visualize closing that book and just putting it down. Crack the eyes open, move the cushion out of the way or come off the chair, and we're going to lie down on the floor on our backs. Come into a comfortable position on your back, like a Savasana. Legs go out wide. If you need to bend your knees, if you have tension in your back, you can go ahead and do so, or maybe place something under your knees. Now don't worry, I know it's hard to lie down when you're angry, so we won't stay here too long. We are going to move the body so that we can move that anger energetically through us. But we're just going to check in with the breath here. We're going to come into as much of a state of relaxation as we can. So palms face up at the ceiling, externally rotating through the chest, opening up the chest, opening up through the front of the body. This area gets particularly tight and rounded when we're carrying that anger, carrying that tension. So I want you to open up, both energetically and physically. We're going to take a deep breath in through the nose, hold it, and then go ahead, exhale, let the breath release. We'll do it again. Inhale, take the breath all the way in. By the way, your eyes are closed. Exhale, relax. One more time. Inhale, take the breath all the way in. Exhale, feel your body melt down into this corpse pose. Relaxation, focusing on the breath, focusing on surrender, just getting the respite, separation from these fiery emotions. All right. Keep your body relatively relaxed here, but just go ahead and interlace the fingers, extend the arms up above your head. Point your toes. If you need to move the cushion, go ahead and do so first. Stretch out your body, really lengthen here. Big inhale, feel as though the breath is stretching you in two, and then exhale, go ahead and hug the right knee in towards your chest. Just interlace your fingers around the shin or around the knee and just pull it in. Hug it in towards the center and then move it out to the side slightly and relax the stomach. Some of you that carry a lot of tension in your groin, your inner thighs are going to feel more of a stretch here, your hamstring maybe. Others may have a bit of a slight hip impingement. We'll address that a bit later. But if you feel it at the front of your hip, maybe back off a little. And then what I really want you to do is know this pose, Pavanamuktasana, stands for wind removing pose, or it means wind removing pose, and it's genuinely designed to compress your ascending colon. So we want it to relax that stomach area. We want it to almost massage it. So yeah, you know what? If you need a fart, go fart. It's fine. Release your anger in flatulence. Okay. So relax the shoulders, relax the jaw, relax the face. And then we're going to take it into a twist. So we'll take that leg across the body, down to the floor, adjust your body as you need to accommodate for this twist. And then just go ahead and extend that right arm out to the side. Soften into this as much as you can. Again, notice, like, where are you carrying your tension? Is it in your stomach, your groin? Try to relax those areas and then bring it back to center. Hug the knee into the chest and then release the leg all the way down to the floor. Interlace your fingers. Let's stretch up and away again, and then go ahead. We'll hug the left knee into the chest. Relax the shoulders, relax the face, the jaw, the eyes. Just hug this leg in. Pay attention to sensation. Right now we're massaging through that descending colon here now. So we'll take that leg across the body. Make the adjustments you need to. Extend that left arm out to the side, come into the twist, melt your way into it, and then we'll bring it back to center. Hug both knees in towards the chest, rock from side to side a little, and then place the feet flat onto the floor, hip distance apart. Take your arms down by your side, palms facing up. Take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, tuck your tailbone and begin to roll your spine off the floor, one vertebra at a time, like you were lifting a string of pearls off the floor. And then slowly lower it back down, lowering your spine, much more valuable than pearls, all the way down to the floor. Let's try again. Lift up and exhale, lower down. And I want you to be really hypersensitive to every sensation that you're experiencing right now. That is your only job, is to breathe calmly and to pay attention to sensation. Inhaling and exhaling through this movement in your own time. And then we'll finish in that exhalation with the hips high. go ahead from here, start to interlace your fingers and press your hands and your pinkies into the floor. Now, I like to walk my shoulder blades in together to give me a little bit more height here. Setu Bandhasana. So coming into a bridge pose, I want to feel as though I'm getting my sternum towards my chest here. Pressing down into the feet, pressing down into the arms, yielding away from the earth, and then releasing the arms, slowly roll that spine back down to the floor. Alrighty, just hug the knees into the chest, rock up and down till you get enough momentum. If you can, rock all the way up onto the feet if you have the mobility to do so, and just go straight into a ragdoll. If you didn't, doesn't matter. We're just gonna fake it till we make it and make your way into this pose right here, ragdoll. So take hold of either elbow, shake out your head yes and no, just back of the neck relaxes here. Really soften. Anger causes us to hold ourselves, right? So we want to just constantly be trying to retrain this relaxation, and we have to repeat it. It requires that repetition. So you may get sick of me saying it, but just keep trying to let go. Alrighty, release your arms down. Place your hands onto your shins if it's available to you. If it's not, you can place them up higher. But what I want you to do is straighten your arms. Try to straighten your legs. They don't have to be perfectly straight. Inhale, lengthen, feeling as though you're lengthening your spine away from your hips. And then exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, lengthen out of the hips. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Beautiful. Fingertips onto the floor. We're going to step the left leg back so that we can come into a lunge position. Adjust yourself as you need to here for this lunge, but what I want you to make sure of is to go nice and long here. I don't want your right knee to be too far over your toes so that the heel lifts off. So I want the heel to be pressing down. We're going to inhale, lengthen, and then exhale, straighten the front leg and fold forward over that front leg, allowing your head to relax. This is Adha Hanuman, half splits pose. We're not going to stay here too long because the splits can make, hamstring stretches can make people more angry. So inhale, let's lean forward, lengthening here. And then exhale, forward fold, kind of like exposure therapy for hamstring frustration, right? Inhale, come back into the lunge. Exhale, back into Adha Hanuman. Inhale, move back into the lunge. Hold here for a second. Now, what we're going to do is move into pigeon pose on this right side. So I need you to lift the back knee off and then lift your right foot off and bring the knee and the shin down to the floor like you would for pigeon pose. Okay, so adjust yourself accordingly. If you need a block under your hip because you're kind of like flopping over to one side, I do want the hips to be relatively square here. Lift up through the chest as much as you can, opening through the chest, and then exhale, we'll forward fold into it. If you're feeling any tension or tightness or pain, specifically in your knee, if that's the dominant sensation for you, then you need to back out of this pose a little bit more, and you can take something like 90-90 pose instead. Alrighty, so from here, we're going to just melt into this pigeon pose first. Okay, so just on your forearms, I like to place something underneath my head so that I can relax the back of the neck and just encourage my brain to relax, right? So as my head is softening, as my forehead is softening on the floor, I just want to imagine like relaxing my brain, relaxing the back of the neck, relaxing my jaw, relaxing my eyes. Take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, if you want to do this and if it's available to you, you're going to take that left hand and thread it through the right side, and we just come into a bit more of a twist. But I just want you to watch what happens to the hips. Like if they fall over to the left too much and you kind of find yourself rolling all the way over, that's not what we want here. We just want this twist to increase the sensation slightly. Okay. Now, in this pigeon pose, as we come into stillness, we have to remember that stillness can kind of lead towards rumination. So as best as possible, just catch yourself. Are you rereading that book in this pigeon position? So as you come into this stillness, are you feeling it again? Is it coming back to the forefront of your mind? Try to exhale, let it go, put the book down. Instead, pay attention to the sensation in your hips. All right, we're going to come back to center and just use the hands to push yourself back into downward facing dog. If you're not doing downward dog, you just go into child's pose. If you are doing down dog and you feel like doing the vinyasa with me, we're going to inhale, come forward to a high push-up position. Exhale, lower down through chaturanga dandasana, and then inhale, either cobra, or if your back feels ready for it, let's go into upward facing dog. Really open up through the chest, kind of really energizing this upward facing dog, and then exhale, press back, downward facing dog. We're all going to meet in Ragdoll, so wherever you ended up, let's come into that Ragdoll position at the top of the mat, folding forward. Shake out your head, yes and no. Inhale, halfway lift here. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold forward. Alrighty, we get to do this on the other side, fingertips to the floor. This time the right leg goes back into the lunge. Now, adjust your lunge accordingly. Just make sure that that front left heel is not popping off the floor. We want to make sure that while we're still getting a little bit of an ankle mobility situation here, we're not letting the heel come off. Okay, inhale here, stretching through the front of the right hip, and then exhale, front leg straightens, and we feel the back of the left leg, Ardha Hanuman, softening down. Good. And then inhale, we'll move back into the lunge, and then exhale, we'll move back into Ardha Hanuman. Inhale, coming into the lunge, and then exhale, we'll move back, folding forward. Good. Inhale, come back into the lunge. Let's go into pigeon pose. All right, so lifting the back knee off, tuck that foot, sinking down. All right, if you maybe noticed, I certainly do when I'm angry. I always notice mistakes when I'm angry. I did do more on the left side, and the reason is because most of us neglect that left side. Not everyone, but most of us neglect that left side. So I just wanted to give it a little bit extra love in the hamstring. Okay, pigeon. Let's just come down onto the forearms. Fold forward, head down. Make any adjustments you need to. Again, paying attention to differences on the left and the right side, but without judgment. So we're just noticing differences without then coming in with a narrative of why it's good or bad or whatever. We just want to let it go. We're trying to cultivate this notion of mindfulness, allowing ourselves to gather all the information without deciding whether that information is good or bad. Okay, and then from here, the right arm is going to thread through the left side if you're going for it, if you want to deepen this stretch. Whatever variation you take, we want to always be concentrating on the quality of the breath. Inhale and exhale. Just remember your breath is always available. And if you're holding your breath, you're actually only going to create more stress in your mind. So we want to make sure that whatever pose variation we choose, we can always breathe. One more deep breath in and a full breath out. Press into the hands. You're either going back into child's pose and resting there while we take the vinyasa. If you want to come with me, let's go downward facing dog. Inhale, high push-up. Exhale, lower down. Chaturanga dandasana. Inhale, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana, upward facing dog. Beautiful. And then press back. We're all going to come into an all fours position onto the hands and knees. Alrighty, spread the fingers nice and wide, knees are hip distance apart. A little bit of cat-cow. Inhale, open up through the chest, and then exhale, push into all 10 fingers around the spine, head goes down, drawing the belly in, lifting up through the pelvic floor. Inhale, drop the belly, lift the head and the hips, heart opens, shoulders pull back. Exhale, belly to the spine, push the floor away, head down. Inhale, and exhale. Beautiful, come back to a neutral spine, and then just make your way forward onto your buttocks. We're going to bring the soles of the feet together. Knees are going to go out wide. If you have blocks with you, you're going to take this variation that I'm doing here. I'm just stacking the blocks. I've got one block that goes underneath my thoracic spine and the other that goes underneath my head to just support my neck a little bit here. And I'm going to use this as a bit of a heart opening position, so really opening through the chest. It's quite hard to be in this position and stay angry. Now, if you don't have blocks, that's okay. You can use a cushion just to lift your chest a little bit, or you can just come onto the floor for a Supta Baddha Konasana pose. And we're just going to allow ourselves to really rest down here, relaxing the chest, relaxing the face, with a gesture of surrender. So I want your arms to be out, palms facing up at the ceiling, eyes closed. Again, as you come into this stillness, just notice if there is a tendency to move back to that book. Honor its existence. Honor your desire to read it. Honor its sense of urgency, and then just move it away. Just put it to the side. You can pick it up, lay it up, put it to the side. Beautiful. So we're going to take 3 more deep breaths here. And then just use your hands to bring the legs back together, push yourself up off the blocks if you are on them. And we'll come into Shavasana. And just make yourself really comfortable here. So like raise the knees if you want to, do whatever you need to do to soften into this one. But I want it to be comfortable as possible. I really want you to move into a place that's comfortable so that we can also find a mental space of comfort and safety. Take a deep breath in and release a full breath out. So while you're in this Shavasana, you can either choose to just focus on your breath, focus on inhalations and exhalations, and sometimes when anger is really the dominant narrative, the dominant focus for us, it can be difficult to do this next exercise that I'm going to do. So I'm just letting you know that this is one option, is to just focus on counting the breath. Inhaling for 3 and exhaling for 6. Okay, and so just keep doing that. You can kind of let the sound of my voice drown out. For those of you that feel, okay, you know what, I can actually go with this, I'm just going to remind you of a few things. Another visualization to finish this practice. I want you to bring to mind right now, after a deep breath in, let's go together. Inhale and exhale. Okay. Bring to your mind's eye someone that you feel grateful for, or something. Someone or something. It doesn't have to be the person that you feel anger towards or the situation or any of that. It's not about trying to turn it suddenly into a positive spin and feel gratitude for them. I want you to think about something that you are grateful for, someone that you are grateful for in your life. Maybe they're no longer with you. Maybe you are grateful for the experience that you had with this person, for the quality that they brought to your life experience. Feel that sense of gratitude for that person. What qualities did they bring to your life? How did their presence enrich your life? In which ways? Just really get curious about the gratitude and the quality of this gratitude. Where do you feel this gratitude in your body right now? Is it your stomach? Is it your heart? Wherever you feel that sensation, can you allow to spread further? Almost like a warm light, a warm energy of gratitude, thankfulness for your experience with this person or thing or situation, just spreading through your body like warm sun. We We cannot be grateful and angry at the same time. While it's important to honor our anger, remember that the practice of gratitude, just like the act of breathing, is always with us. It's just a choice of what we choose to direct our energy towards. Allow yourself to sit in this sensation, and we'll bring our awareness slowly back to our body by just moving through the tips of the fingers and toes. And then slowly take a deep breath in, open the mouth, exhale, breathe out, and then go ahead and we'll interlace the fingers, extend the arms up above the head, stretch up, hug the knees into the chest, exhale, use your hands to push yourself up to a seated position. Bring the palms together at your heart center, gently bow your head, fingertips come in between the eyebrows. Thank you so much for sharing your practice with me today. I hope you have had some respite from dominant emotions. Remember, it's available anytime. Thank you for practicing. Namaste. Well done.